Wilson Miles from Black Room TV. Hey, Corey, how's it going?
I'm good, Wilson. Good to see you, man.
Good. Seems like I'm seeing your whole team again. I just saw Danielle. I just saw Taraji. Obviously, I'm talking to you now, but we're talking
Yeah.
about this current film. The only brother in a horror film who may or may not live. So when you got the script, did you go to the back pages?
You know how it goes. You got to flip to the end just to take a little peek and then see if you want to engage. No, man. I remember reading it, starting at the beginning, and I've known the book and I knew this chapter, but I'd also wondered why they hadn't made it a film in a long time, and I was like, maybe the right elements hadn't come along yet, and we just happened to find the right group of people to make it, man. But I honestly, like, it was a thriller. It presented an opportunity, another challenge to do something that I haven't done before. The accent, the historical element of playing a black Cambridge educated doctor at that time, which is a very real thing, and these men existed. Put them on a ship, trying to get to London, and then you add Dracula, and I was like, okay, there's something there, and so we just went and played, man. It was fun.
Now, this character is not colorblind. He is a black character, right?
Right. I mean, I think, yeah, that's right.
So when you do these type of stories, do they have your character based? I don't know if it's based on the book or not, but what a person would do in these circumstances when people are being killed off one by one, because that's what you get when you watch these movies. It's like, who's going to survive at the end?
Yeah, who's going to end up coming out? And here's the thing: it's you don't know. You really, honestly, don't know because here's the thing: everyone knows the book, and so everyone knows that in Dracula, the ship that Dracula came over to London on ends up on the sea shore, completely derelict. No one's on board. There's death all over the place. Like, no one survives. And so you have to lean in a little bit and see what this journey actually is. It's the shortest chapter in Dracula, but it's also one of the most, to me, the most interesting chapter. And so for me, I was like, I mean, this movie I think has been around. They've been trying to make it for 20 something years. And honestly, the fact that it ended up this way, I think is just really cool, man. It's a throwback to old school filmmaking, everything practical, like, just the ships were built, and we just got to go on this journey with this director that was both a challenge, a risk, and also at the end a huge reward.
What does that do for you as an actor, being one of the leads in a horror film? And like I said, we don't know if we're going to make it or not, but to be in the lead
Yeah.
role for this type of film, because we don't see it so often.
Yeah, it's again, that's why, I mean, for me, choosing these roles, again, there's no real master plan. I'm not like, oh, I got to go do this, and now I got to go check this box off and do that. But it seems that, like, I'm really fortunate to get the opportunity to do that. When I went to do 24, the reason, it's all about intent, and the reason I wanted to do it was because I wanted to be a black hero on television, network television, that didn't have superpowers, and I wanted that to be a thing that people saw and that we put out there, because I didn't necessarily see that growing up. I didn't see a lot of black heroes in growing up in the horror genre. We all know how it sometimes end up for black folks in the horror genre. So I was like, this is important for me to tell this story and to tell it with dignity, and also to have some agency in this journey with the character in a time where we didn't have agency. And it's not, the movie isn't necessarily about that. It's a Dracula film, but it can't, that you can't lose that. That has to be a part of it. And so that was crucial for me. That was important for me. And also to be a black American actor who gets to go and play a British character. I said, there's a challenge there, and I'm up for it. And it's just it's just journeying and seeing what vibes with you, what speaks to you, and this definitely spoke to me. The challenge of it, the risk of it spoke to me.
Keep up with the journey. We're always there with you. Keep it going. Obviously, I'll talk to you down the road. You got other projects coming out, so
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
talk later.
All right, I'll see you soon, man. Good to see you.
Take care. Hi, Liam. How's it going?
Pretty good, sir. Very nice to make your acquaintance.
Good. So this is weird for me. Hopefully you guys can hear me. what went into saying yes to taking on this project? And when you get a movie like this, a horror film, do you go to the back pages to see if you make it out alive?
That's a good question. Well, we sort of know we didn't. It's very, very clear early on. There's a reason the title is The Last Voyage of the Demeter for a reason you'll find out very quickly. With this one, the attraction was going back to the book, going back to this original seed that produced so many Draculas, so many interpretations of what this monster was. But I don't think any of them are as dangerous as the original shape-shifting beast that we have to deal with in this very, very small enclosed space with these incredible characters that were written and these incredible relationships that we had. You really feel for these characters in the movie. You go along with them. They're ordinary Joes in an extraordinary set of circumstances, and the horror is there for all to see.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, David? What went into saying yes to taking on this?
Well, I asked to be a part of this film. When I found out they were making this film, I sent a letter, a heartfelt letter, explaining my love for Dracula and Universal Horror Pictures to André, our director. I also contacted Nina Gold, the casting director at the time that this film was being cast, and I kind of have operated for a lot of my career without the benefit of representation. So I just picked up the phone and said I would like to be a part of the film, and I put together long audition tapes with the help of my wife during the pandemic, built sets in my house and created a character. And fortunately, they thought I was the right person for the role. And I got the great honor of going to Berlin and shooting at Babelsberg and then Malta, where we got to shoot these incredible exteriors with this amazing cast. And I got to actually be on set with Dracula. I mean, come on.
It's Dracula, and considering we've had many films of Dracula, he doesn't die. So when you're on a set with the other actors, is it a point where like, okay, there comes a time when somebody's not going to be here because one of them is going out. It's like 10 Little Indians. Who sticks it out at the end? Between you and Liam, how much of a fan have you been of this genre? And did you ever grow up watching any of this stuff and saying to yourself,
Are you kidding? Are you
I'm gonna
kidding?
make it.
I remember I was like 7 or 8 years old. I couldn't have been any older when my uncle got married, and as a little gift to all his nephews, nieces, and whatever, took them to his basement flat, put a bed sheet on the wall, and had an 8mm projector. And I saw Frankenstein versus the Wolfman for the first time, silent, and I was in a room with a projector and looking at a sheet and wondering, oh my God, that's the machine that does that. And it put the hook in me. And since then, I've worked with Universal. I did The Mummy. I did a wonderful movie called Dog Soldiers about werewolves. And to turn away from Dracula, how could you turn away from something like that? The genre has started off so many magnificent careers for directors and actors and all sorts of people. It's a genre that will never go away. And I think we've done it proud with The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I grew up a child of the creature feature and the late night horror show. I was always obsessed with the work of artists like Lon Chaney and Lon Chaney Jr. and Boris Karloff. And for me, getting to be on the deck of the ship where Dracula himself is stalking us, feasting on us, with the universal banner hanging above all of it, it's like this is the dream for me. This is it. This is the big show.
You guys did well. Congrats. Obviously, it's coming out in theaters, which is what we want people to see it in. I'm talking to you guys down the road because you guys are always working. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. Hey, André, how's it going?
Hey, nice to meet you.
Good. When you do a movie like this, we, the audience, know it's 10 Little Indians. Like, who's going to survive at the end?
Yeah.
So when you do, what's the challenge for you talking, obviously putting this together, the story, so it can make it compelling for us to buy into it, knowing what we're probably going to expect, but you have to do it differently.
When it comes to when it comes to revealing who's going to survive and who's going to die.
Well, yeah, and then obviously, the thing is, it's a Dracula film, it's somewhat, but just keeping it compelling enough to thrill the fans who are fans of the genre.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I always come back to Hitchcock and the idea that it's all based in suspense. You have to care about the characters. You have to slowly build the suspense, whether it's short term inside a scene, or it's long term throughout the whole sequence of the movie, or its entire movie. It's like, to create this arc is what is kind of the magic of making a movie, I think, that you build and create this kind of journey for all the characters and for the story and for the audience, to where things are revealed for them piece by piece by piece, and who's going to die and who's going to survive. And in the end, we kind of know from the novel that it's not a big spoiler because the novel has been around for a while, that everyone dies on the ship. And but we have a little secret. We want to, tell the audience about that.
When you do these type of movies, is there a thought process as far as when you know, as you mentioned, people die, how they're going to go out? In terms of like, do you need to be gory or do you need to make it sensible?
I mean, it's kind of it's a mix. Those two are very good points. We have to make it. It has to be scary, and to deliver scares, you can't just build up to it. You actually have to deliver on it. In the end, the audience is going to feel cheated if you don't actually punch when you have the opportunity to do it. And it needs to be visceral. That's what the joy of a horror movie is sometimes. It's the build-up and the visceral experience of the violence sometimes. And in this case, it is quite violent at times. And I enjoy that process in making a film. I think it's a lot of fun to play with the audience, to know when to tell them something and when not to tell them something. And that's a joy for me anyway. Yeah.
What's your takeaway having done this movie here, working location-wise, talent-wise, script-wise, that helps you as a director moving forward? Should you want to continue in this genre or not?
I will always want to continue in the genre because it's kind of what I love about filmmaking. It's the precision of storytelling, and the horror genre in itself is such a wonderful space to work, to do all that. It's all about precision. And but I also would love to broaden out and and create something else. But but I love the genre, so no problem continuing.
Hey, stay in it, stay in your lane if it makes it work. Congratulations on the film. We'll talk down the road.
Yeah, great.
Take care.
You too.